To process the EDM baseline data in CompNET, we will need three files. The field data exported to GSI format using the CompNET format file, the height file, which has the baseline pillar height data, and the baseline file, which has the inter-pillar distances for the baseline. The name of the baseline is on the first line of the baseline file. Following this is the distance between the pillars as stated on the measurement report found on the Spatial Services website. The format must be in the form of pillar 1 to 2 and then 2 to 3 and so on. The number following the distance is the standard deviation of the interpillar distance. It doesn't matter if the pillars are named P1, P2, etc., or the full PM number, as in this case. However, it is crucial that the baseline file, height file, and recorded measurements all use the same naming convention. To create the height file, the pillar with the lowest RL is adopted as a 0 point, and a height above this is calculated for the remaining pillars. As you can see in this file, PM 90303 is the lowest pillar and has been given a 0 height. The remaining pillars have their calculated height above PM 90303 as the height listed next to them. To begin processing the baseline observations, first create a new CompNET two-dimensional project on the plane projection. Give the project a name and save it in the appropriate directory. Import the field data through General Survey, click Yes to accept using field coordinates as we are not using a control file, and choose the appropriate coding option for your fieldwork. Depending on how you recorded your field measurements, your neutral file may or may not look like this. If your neutral file doesn't look like this, you will need to edit the point descriptions so that they match with the descriptions used in the baseline and height files. Under the Utilities menu, you will find Baseline Calibration. To select the baseline and height files, go into their respective menus and choose File. Navigate to your file and select Open. We can now process the baseline through the Utilities menu, Baseline Calibration, and then Process Baseline. To view the results, select the sum file. The baseline is processed in two stages. The first is a free baseline calibration where all the published baseline distances are held free in the adjustment. This produces an estimate of the EDM constant, but cannot be used to assess the PPM corrections. We can use this data to assess the stability and reliability of the published baseline distances. The second adjustment is a fixed baseline calibration. In this stage, the published baseline distances are generally held fixed unless a discrepancy has been found between the measured distances and published distances in stage 1. Both the EDM constant and PPM correction with standard deviations are generated. In both cases, we check the variance factor to make sure that it is acceptable before accepting the calibration results. The Surveying and Spatial Information Regulation requires that any length stated by a surveyor should not differ from the true value by more than plus or minus 10 mm plus 50 ppm. And this is to include uncertainty from all possible sources. It is recommended in the Surveyor General's Direction number 5, the maximum uncertainty of calibration should not exceed plus or minus 5 mm plus 30 ppm. If the calibration report indicates that the calibration of the instrument is approaching or has exceeded this limit, these results should immediately be reported. For a more in-depth explanation of CompNET processes, please read through the CompNET help files.